This is an introduction to the RCPI reflection tool. Teachers receive a growth score each year, level 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. But looking at that score, can you tell me what did you teach well and maybe not so well? Well, using that growth score alone, we cannot answer that question. Using the RCPI teacher reflection tool can help answer that question. RCPI stands for Reporting Category Performance Indicators, and they are part of the reports that we receive through Pearson Access. If we use this tool, there's a few assumptions we must make. First, we make the assumption that we can change our instruction. Also, if we look at different students over time where the teacher instruction is the constant and see trends, then we can make some assumptions about strengths and weaknesses within the teacher's instruction. Once the tool is complete, you'll receive a set of tables and graphs illustrating your average RCPI performance over time. You'll also receive a set of tables and graphs that compares that performance to the school, district, and state over that same period of time. There are multiple models of this tool. The departmentalized model is to be used for elementary schools where teachers teach multiple sections of classes, or in a middle school setting where teachers teach multiple sections of classes. The class reports we receive are organized by test administrator. Therefore, the list of students on that report is not always accurate as far as the list that teacher taught. So you will need class rosters. These are not a TCAP report. You'll need it from your SIS, whatever produces the list of students that are in your classes. You'll need those rosters over the same period of time that you've chosen to view your class reports. We'll use these rosters to choose the students over the years to create an accurate average for each RCPI. You will also need your class reports from Pearson for the same time periods you have taught the same subject and grade level. We can go back all the way to 2012 for TCAP 3 through 8. We will use these reports to enter information into the tool for the comparison of your RCPI to that of the school, district, and state. On the screen is an example of one of these class reports used for the 3 through 8 TCAP. This report is accessed through Pearson Access. The area in the green box is the area we'll be focusing on for the numbers that will be used in the reflection tool. In the tool, we use filtering with a spreadsheet. You will use your class rosters to actually choose a list of students over each year, and it will recalculate an RCPI average based on those students. The second page of the tool, you will actually use that same box from the class report to enter in the numbers for the school, system, and state. The EOC model is a little bit different. This model compensates for teachers that teach multiple sections of the same EOC subject. You will need simply the class reports from Pearson for up to 6 administrations you've taught the same EOC subject. As with the departmentalized model, we will use that report to enter the numbers into the RCPI reflection tool. The one step that is different is if you have multiple reports for the same year, for each report that you use, you will enter the number of students taught. These reports were divided into multiple sections prior to 2013. Starting with 2013, the EOC class report comes as one report with all students for one teacher. And the SAT-10 model. You need a few more reports for this one. You need a group report for the teacher. You need the master list summary report for the school and the master list summary report for the district. These all come from Pearson Access. You can go as far back as your district has been giving Sat 10 for all 3 of these reports. You will use the percentile ranking that's on the group report for the teacher to enter numbers into the spreadsheet or the reflection tool, just like the previous models.
Each of these models has a step-by-step document similar to the one on the screen that tells the person how to enter the data into the tool. Once the numbers are in, here's an example of the charts that will be produced for you. You'll get one that shows you the average of the teacher across the years that you have looked at. That's with the EOC or the TCAP or Sat 10. It also has represented the average for those same years, the school, the system, and the state. In this example, we can see that even though algebra is a personal low for this particular teacher, they are on average operating at a higher average than the school, state, and district. Here's another example of the same graph using reading language arts for TCAP. The teacher is the purple line here. So in this situation, literature is a personal low for this teacher, and it is dropped below the performance of the school, state, and district. So this might be an area for consideration. Whereas language is the personal high for this teacher, and it is above the school, district, and state average as well. The next type of chart, it breaks down the RCPI or the percentile rankings for Sat 10 by each year that you have put in for the tool. So now, and not just looking at a combined average, you can actually see over the year which particular categories are higher and which categories are lower. So another example of that same chart where a teacher only has 3 years worth of data. And the last type of chart is a comparison of the combined average to the school, district, and state. So 0 would represent if the teacher average is the exact same as either the state, system, or school. So in this situation, I can see that when I compare the teacher to the district or the system, on average, for the years that they've looked at, their mathematical processes RCPI average is 15 points higher than the system. By the same measure, I see that it's roughly 8 points higher than the state when looking at all of the years combined. Here's another example of the same chart. It actually coincides with the first line graph that we looked at. You might recall that literature was a low for the teacher, and it's also showing here that on average across those years, when I compare this teacher to the state, their RCPI average is roughly 9 points lower than the state. And we can see in this particular category they are lower than the school, district, and state. Finally, included in the step-by-step documents are a few questions that a teacher would want to consider after completing the reflection tool to help them further utilize that information to guide their instruction.